Welcome to the Thought Leaders video blog, where industry executives share their insights and vision in today's landscape of live entertainment. Okay, Jovan Overshown from Baylor, thank you for joining the Paculin Thought Leaders video. I'm really excited to have you. Jovan, you come from an athletics family. Your husband was a football player at TCU. You got two boys at home. You're in athletics, obviously, at Baylor. How are you coping with things? How are things going in your family?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. This has certainly been quite a unique season for us. Early on in this process, a colleague of mine sent a quote to me from socials, either from Twitter or Instagram, that really framed kind of the season we're in. And it was, we're not working from home. We're at home trying to work through a crisis. And for me, what that did was really create some perspective and some framework for how we approach this season. We've got to give ourselves grace and others grace. And, this is uncharted territory for us. This is a unique time, and none of us have a rule book for it. So really just trying to find appreciation for things that we previously would have taken for granted. And, trying to not hang on to those easy frustrations or the moments of chaos when you don't have it all together. It's a juggle. But we're also fortunate to have some assistance with childcare during this time that has allowed us to have some sense of normalcy, but it's still been a challenge.
That's right. The juggle is real. So you're leading a big team. How has your leadership changed now during these uncertain circumstances? How are you engaging your team and keeping everybody connected?
Yeah, I can't applaud our team enough for just how they've embraced this time. We all are very competitive at heart, and we're all a part of this department or college athletics because we have a passion for student athlete development and progression and just all of the ways that we engage with them. So this was hard to swallow initially, but the team has really rallied. And, I've found that, we can't change the tragedy of this situation, but we can turn it into an opportunity. And that's really how we've approached this season. That's how I've led through this season. And, they'd probably tell you the best thing that I've done is kind of get out of their way and really allow them to just be innovative and creative and find new ways of doing business that's unlike what we've done before.
Awesome. On that note, and coming off some great seasons in both football and basketball, I believe 11-3 in football, 26-4 in basketball. So hitting the stride on both sports, which is amazing. Congratulations. So how are you continuing that momentum? How are you continuing to engage fans, especially now when there's a bit of uncertainty?
It's actually been fun. It's been a fun challenge. There's so much excitement to hang on to. So we're trying to kind of capture that essence of it rather than the fact that there was an abrupt end to the seasons. We've been so intentional engaging with our fans. We've always had strategy behind it, but now at this time, you're really trying to find a way virtually to not be transactional, but to be relational. We've come up with new platforms of communications, the New Athletics podcast, and various other ways. We're just finding new communication points, and it's excited to be able to highlight things that normally wouldn't be kind of headline news for us.
Yeah, for sure. I was just listening to the Sikkim podcast with Mac Rhodes. It was great. And
you're right.
Now there's different mediums that before, you kind of take it for granted. And all of a sudden, like, whoa, this is so impactful. And people are just clamoring for content. They can't wait to hear that perspective. So that's well done. Well played.
Thank you.
Has there been any other difference in tone of message or communication or outreach that you've taken now that you haven't in years past?
I think, transparency. We've always believed in transparency of message, but now there's just this strong passion for authenticity in the information that we're giving. It's so cliche. It's on every billboard, but we really are. We're truly in this together. So there's just this sense of, we want to inform you. We want to share the information that we have with you in an authentic way, timely, transparent, because you're one of us. Like, this is the way that we're going to develop and move forward. So, that's kind of a little different twist to how we normally do things.
For sure. And this is probably a difficult question, but I know all of us in college athletics are looking at different contingency plans for football in the season. So do you have a series of plans, and what are you looking for to unfold some of those contingency plans in the future at such an uncertain time?
I kind of laugh. I look at the whiteboards on this room that I'm in right now. If you were to come in here a few days ago, it would have looked like a scene from A Beautiful Mind. It's just, and that's really credit to, our athletic director, our CFO, the other members of executive team, because so much thought has went into every decision. Obviously, like every athletic director in the country, every executive team, you're developing plans, and obviously there's a great financial impact on football. But to be able to go beyond that, we have contingency plans for every main area of our department. So if there's 6 plans for football, we've got 6 plans for external affairs and how it touches every area. So, it really is interesting because it's stretching us. And while we hope to not have another situation like this in history, those are plans that we might be able to pull from that ultimately will make us better long term.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think, and we talked a little bit before about some silver linings, but leaning into technology now more than ever, we're on Zoom calls all day, every day, and Slack video chat. So there's probably a bit of silver lining there, and maybe some personal ones too. Any silver linings in your family or your role?
Yeah, I think from a role perspective, from professionally, proximity is now no longer an excuse. This virtual environment that we're in, it forces us to create experiences beyond face-to-face. So, now it's a unique place that we're in, that we have to continue to evolve because the same excuses that we had before don't exist. And then, silver linings from a family perspective, kind of the same things. We're reframing. We're starting to recognize, areas that we put great emphasis or weight into, that where the pendulum needed to shift back another way. So it's grateful.
Fantastic. So talk to me a little bit about your leadership, and we talked a little bit about how you're communicating with your team, but what do you see from a industry perspective and how leadership needs to change today, especially when things are so uncertain? What are your words of wisdom going forward from an industry perspective, and how we're leading going forward?
That's an interesting question. For me, there's at the core, I find myself really owning into, I believe so much in the intentionality of the people that are a part of your team. As a leader, I try to remind myself that it is by no coincidence that, we're all in the roles that we're in at this exact time, at this point in history. And, on the good days and the bad, when you have challenges with employees or you personally have challenges, it's just leading from a place of there's no accidents. So trying to lead from that place of purpose, but being so communicative during this time. And just creative. We have to be outside of the box in our thinking because the frames are gone. So it's exciting to kind of retool our leadership perspectives as a team, and just the outcomes of that.
Absolutely. And I think now more than ever, communication is key, right? When people are quarantined and at home. So have you done any other new initiatives or efforts to keep the community connected?
Yeah, so it's been fun because we've really locked arms with campus. You don't often hear that, but we really see like there's a mutual benefit here and a single purpose in that. We want people to know Baylor's distinctive. We're a Christian mission institution. And so we've really been able to create projects that lock in on that, be it Sunday chapel services through football or Monday quick devotionals. We're really tapping into who we authentically are. And ultimately, that's because we want people to come to Baylor, post-pandemic. We want them to return. So it's been neat working with campus to really just kind of show a united front of who we are.
That's fantastic. I love it. So talk to me about diversity in leadership too. Obviously, as a strong woman leader in college athletics, how do you feel diversity is impacting not only Baylor, but the college landscape?
Yeah, it's an interesting time. It's been really cool to see the evolution of, even in just my short time in the industry, just the evolution and the progression and diversity uh, that's occurred. I firmly believe we're only as great as we're challenged to be. So that diversity challenges us, be it gender or thinking or ethnicity. That diverse perspective allows us to have an open mind, and that openness of thinking just makes us better. And then, from a student athlete perspective, I think it's important for us to have, student athletes to be able to look to the leadership or those in important roles and see themselves replicated, because then you have confidence and, my ideas or my views, there's buy-in. I feel like it's going to be represented. So, I think it's critical to the success of us long-term.
Great. How do we as an industry and a community level up our diversity initiatives?
I'd say just be intentional. I mean, we say that all the time, but I think that goes back to that creativity point. Be intentional in your recruiting, but also don't look for, the framework that you've always known it to be. We have to be creative. We have to be willing to look outside of that typical, makeup, because that's where the diversity lies. And then that's also where opportunity is.
Great. I love it. So how do you personally strike a balance? Working mom, leader, wife, how do you make it all work? What is your secret?
I say, you're going to get me. This is my soapbox, because I just don't buy it. It's funny. I spoke about this a little bit at PACnet, but we get so hung up on this idea of balance. And to me, it's a roadblock. For me personally, I'll say it doesn't exist. You said it, I'm a mom. I've got 2 wild boys. I've got a husband that's a coach. We're 2 passing ships in the night. If I were to put the pressure on myself to have daily balance, they'd probably have to commit me somewhere. Right now, what I always say is, I have 4 core areas that are of importance to me: faith, family, my professional career, and just physical well-being or health. Mm-hmm. That pendulum's going to swing one way towards family. One week I might be doing really strong in that area, and the next week I might be at the office, or right now those lines might blur and I might be working till midnight. For me, it's just ensuring that I'm caring for each of those areas at some time and recognize when I need to swing it back another way. So that's balance for me. So I extend a lot of grace for myself.
Awesome. You should. So what do you think, Jovan? What's the mark of a good leader? Are there leaders that you've got your eye on to emulate? And do you have any words of wisdom or advice that you've kind of learned over your career around leadership?
Yeah, I've been blessed to have encountered some great leaders, and I really feel like those who know their weaknesses, so that they're hiring to those weaknesses and surrounding themselves with people that really are going to lift them up. Rising tide floats all boats. You've got to have awareness to know those areas and opportunities where you can elevate the team. So I think that's just authenticity and honesty with yourself and others.
Awesome. I love it. So, fast forward to the future when this whole COVID-19 pandemic blows over, which I can't wait for. And I know we all can't wait for that.
Prayerful.
So what's your vision for the future for Baylor Athletics? Where do you want to drive the ship in the future? And what are some plans you'd like to unveil?
Yeah. This idea of contingency plan, like we talk about it, like it's kind of a negative, but that's some thinking or some processes that we want to take with us moving forward. Mm-hmm. We want to always have maybe not a contingency plan, but this idea that we can strip it back and rebuild in another way. When you renovate a house, you pull it down to the studs, you don't build it back the exact same way.
Right.
So moving forward, we're really trying to look at everything that we've kind of scaled back. And before we rescale it, let's really ask the hard questions. Why? Is it because we've always done it this way? So we're just trying to really re-strategize as we move forward, take this virtual thinking. We've got some neat ideas to partner with the university and even teams for recruiting that engages a virtual environment. virtual events. So we're just excited to kind of continue this and move forward.
Fantastic. Is there a technology trend that you've got your eye on right now that might be able to help us now in the COVID-19 pandemic environment, or in the future in general?
It's funny. It's there's just so much that we're doing from just an engagement space with our fan base. Again, like I mentioned earlier, just the elimination of proximity being a barrier for engagement.
Yeah.
So for us, it's just really any of these tools that allow us to create these experiences away from home. So we're excited to continue to tap into that. And again, like, we want you to feel the same value at home that you would, in venue. So we're trying to explore some creative ways to do that.
Awesome. So this is a tough one. What's the best advice that you received, either personally or professionally, and how are you applying that in today's challenging environment?
This is so terrible and so simple, but and I've heard it forever. But just to really make your mark. And, what I mean by that is any time, whether it be a difficult time like it is now, a time of transition, there's just this passion in owning the moment that you're in, owning your circumstances, and just really, again, having that openness of mind to really make a difference and to kind of be transformative right where you are, and you'll be better for it.
Awesome. Jovan Overshown, thank you so much for joining us on the Pacula Thought Leaders video blog. Really appreciate your time. You're a rock star, and we appreciate our partnership.
Grateful for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for joining the Thought Leaders video blog. And remember, everyone can step up and be a leader in their own way. We look forward to seeing you next time.